Hello, this is Simone from Epica, and you're listening to One on One with Mitch Lafon. Rock on.
Welcome to One on One with Mitch Lafon, and joining me on this episode, it is Dokken bassist Jeff Pilson. Yes, it feels great to be able to say that once again. He is, of course, also in Foreigner, a great addition to that band. Please check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON, Facebook One on One Mitch Lafon, and paypal.me/Mitch Lafon. Before checking out the episode with Jeff Pilson, just a quick heads up. In the first minute of the audio, there's a couple of clicks on the source tape. Nothing I could do about that. Doesn't distract from the interview. And with that, here is the one, the only, Jeff Pilson. We are speaking with Jeff Pilson of Foreigner and, of course, now of Dokken. And, of course, Jeff, we have spoken about the possibility of a Dokken reunion for many, many years. I think fans have been demanding it, and not so long ago I interviewed Mick Brown about his solo band, and he started revealing things about these Japanese dates, and of course this was before anybody knew anything of it, and he said, well, listen.
Naughty Mick.
Yeah, naughty Mick, right? But it's okay. I mean,
Yeah, of course. I'm kidding.
It came out in due time, but he said, everybody picked up on the fact that he said, we're doing it for the money, and myself, I've never understood why that's a criticism because, when the teacher shows up to school in the morning, it's for the money. When the policeman shows up to the police station in the morning, it's for the money. I mean, we all work for the money. None of us go to work and go, wow, as long as they pat me on the back when I'm done, I'm good. Well, no, it's not there, right?
Right. Well, I get that, but at the same time, this is entertainment. This is art. I think people and even artists themselves don't want to think that they do it just for the money. People know that we have a fairly privileged life doing this, and to think that we do it just for the money kind of brings up a bad picture in your mind. But the truth is, I think I've spoken with Mick since this all happened, and I think at the time, I think that's how Mick was honestly feeling. Like the only reason he wanted to do it was for the money. But I've spoken with him since, and now he's excited, and now he gets the musical possibilities and the fact that we have a chance to kind of go out and kind of prove ourselves again as a band. That excites him too. For me, it was never just about the money. The money is a good thing. And listen, there's no secret. We are being well paid for this. And of course, it's a huge incentive. Just like you say, a cop isn't going to be a cop for free. But a cop also probably loves his gig. And the thing is, I do love music, and I do love Dokken, even though we were a troubled band in so many ways. I'm very proud of what we've done, and the chance to do it all again and maybe do it right this time is very exciting to me. And the fact that it worked out so well with my Foreigner schedule just makes it all the more better, and it made it impossible to say no for me. So like I say, the money's nice. Of course it's nice, but I think as artists, as entertainers, I think we also take it very seriously that we want to go out and really prove that there's something there about Dokken. There's a reason why 30 plus years later people want to see it again, and I'm just excited to get a chance to do that.
Yeah, so let's look at the positive aspects. What is it about these four guys that make fans excited, that makes a promoter in Japan say, yeah, I'm going to fork out this amount of money? What is it about you and George and Mick and Don? Because there were other versions before you guys and after.
Sure. Right.
But why you four?
Well, there's probably a lot of reasons for that. One, we were the band that came out with those classic songs, and the nostalgia associated with Dokken is associated with us. I mean, that's certainly true. But at the same time, about, I don't know when it was, 5-6 years ago, we got up on stage together somewhere in Orange County in California this one was when we were kind of first talking reunions. And George and I got up and played with Don and Mick, and the four of us, played a couple songs together. And you know what? As soon as we got up there, I'll be damned if there wasn't some kind of magic going. There is a chemistry about the four of us that is pretty unmistakable to me. And, that chemistry did result in the songs that I think people know us for. And there is something about it. I mean, no one can explain chemistry, or else, they would be very, very wealthy. Chemistry is just something that happens. And I I think we had that chemistry. For whatever reason, we had it. I mean, Don does have some, he's had some great versions of Dokken in recent years. And I'm not saying they don't have chemistry. They probably do. It's just there was something about our unique chemistry that seemed to create the music that we did and that people really could resonate with. And I guess that's why we're still in demand.
Yeah. And listen, Don has had some great versions of the band.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I've seen a couple,
Yeah, and just like, Kiss was great with Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer, there's just something about Ace Frehley being in the band. And that's sort of like how it is with George and how it is with you. The interviews that have come out since the reunion announcement have been, we talked about money, but have also been, Don and George aren't getting along. So where are we in terms of everybody getting along and people?
Okay, yeah, I heard that too. Well, You know what? The truth is, and I'll be honest with you, in putting this thing together, there were some old wounds that opened up. I think that's bound to happen. I mean, we're all pretty passionate dudes. We're all pretty sensitive dudes, and so I think there were some old wounds that opened up, but I think it gave us an opportunity to try and clear the air a little bit. I don't know if it's 100% clear, but I think it's at a position where we're all in agreement that, you know what, it's about the fans. Let's just go out there and kick some butt. Let's try and have fun, because that's something Dokken wasn't always fun. And I'm certainly bound and determined. And, I just saw George the other day. I know he's bound and determined. And through emails, I know Don is bound and determined to have some fun with this. So I think we're at a point now where, sure, some stuff happened, but you know what? That's not a big deal. I think with Dokken, we just have this habit of airing our dirty laundry more so than other bands. Yes, we've always had some conflict or whatever, but I don't think we ever had that much more than most bands. We just happen to air the dirty laundry quicker, and I don't know why that is. It's just part of our nuttiness, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder who's going to air more dirty laundry, the guys in Rat or the guys in Dokken. There seems to be this competition, but right. But as we get older and older, isn't there an age where past transgressions just get forgotten or excused? I mean, is it always? I mean,
well, you know what? Honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think we were all thinking that was more so the case than perhaps it is.
Okay.
I think what happens is these things, they can't help but kind of come up when you're with those same people again. Now, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it because, again, it wasn't that huge a thing. It's fine. But certainly a lot of things I would say get healed by time, but not everything. But you know what? I honestly believe it's kind of opened the door for us to kind of clear the air in a way that perhaps is very healthy for the band and even us as individuals, because you don't realize how much of that crap you hold in over all those years. And I think all of us held stuff in that never had a chance to resolve. And it kind of is now. So I don't want to, this is actually kind of personal stuff between us, but it is being aired and it is being dealt with. And I think, in all honesty, it's going to put us in a place where when we go out and perform, we're going to be a little more pure than maybe we've been in a long time. So, I hope.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping too. Now, are these shows a sense of closure where, now we can sort of move on and you can just be the guy in Foreigner, not the guy who's going to do the Dokken reunion in 2 years, and same with George? Is it a sense of closure for you?
Well, you know what? It could be, and if it is, I'm quite okay with that, especially if it goes well, which, I'm going to do my best to make it go well. I mean, I really want us to sound good. I want us to play and sing well, and I want us to perform well. I want to do this, especially for the Japanese fans who have been so amazing to us. They really have. I mean, it kind of it just really emotionally touches me that this is where we're doing it. So if it is closure, that's great. I myself, I have. I would always probably leave the door open. I mean, for me, it's more been about timing because of the Foreigner schedule, which is, as you know, crazy, than it has been about the old wounds. But I think, in all honesty, if it's closure, it's going to be great because doing it in Japan, I think, is the perfect place for Dokken to end it, if that's indeed what it is. And, Don has made it clear he believes it is. So, And I understand he's got his version of the band and he doesn't want to really detract from that. I totally get that, and I even endorse that. So if that's the case, I'm way cool with it. I'm just kind of excited we have a chance to go, make one more statement rather than kind of the ugliness that it ended on years ago.
Right, and it's not going to end on ugliness this time. The fans are excited for it. There's going to be a DVD, right? So that's the other thing.
It's been a good place for us. It really has. I mean, even amongst turmoil, we always had great tours of Japan. So yeah, I'm feeling very good about it.
Yeah, and the live in what was it? Live in '95 from Japan was a great package. I mean, that was a great package.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me ask you this then, because that's the other thing. Everybody says it's going to be these 7 shows. You're doing Badlands in South Dakota or wherever it is, and then Japanese 6. Is it really that emphatic of a no? I mean, if Heavy Montreal or Wacken or somebody, one of these big festival calls and says, "Come on,"
I believe it is from George. I mean, Don says it is, so I mean, I got to take him at his word. All I can tell you is that for me, I would probably keep it as an open door, but totally respect and wouldn't argue with anybody who wanted to make an emphatic no. It's not like that's one thing I guarantee you we'll never argue about.
Right. Does that take a little bit of the shine off of it that there's been this emphatic no out there, or are you still very positive?
No.
Okay.
No, for me, in a way, it relieves a little pressure. It means that it's going to be a very pure experience, and if it's a pure positive one, sure, I'd love it if something else happened somewhere down the line. But also knowing that it's the end, don't you think that that's going to make you really consider taking? I mean, I'm going to be emotional. That last bow on the last night, I'm going to be emotional. I mean, even all the crap we've been through over the years. I love these guys, and God, I'm getting emotional just talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that last bow is going to be. I bet you tears come to my eyes. So,
yeah.
you know what I mean. So hey, that makes you appreciate things. And you know what? If you don't appreciate life and the opportunities you get, you're missing something big. So maybe this is a chance for us to kind of focus in and appreciate the gift that we had. I mean, my God, we had platinum, multiple albums that went platinum. Let's say that. And we had tremendous success, and we had, we're coming back 30 years later and people want to hear us. I mean, those are things to be really, really grateful for. And maybe we'll appreciate that a little bit through this.
In fact, you mentioned the 30 years and that the people still want to hear it. Would you have been disappointed if 30 years later fans just didn't care? Just like, people went, Dokken, who are they? Like, had it been the opposite where people just didn't have any rise when you say the name? Would that have been sort of like, wow, I put all my heart and soul in this band and people just don't care? Wouldn't that have been awful?
Yes.
Right?
Of course it would. I guess I wouldn't be too shocked because it was a long time ago, and I would be able to handle it. But of course, I'd be disappointed.
So let's talk about more positives here. You've been in rehearsal. You've probably sat in the car with a CD listening to the songs, or MP3, I guess these days. How is it for you going back to those songs and relearning them? Because when you're driving around the car and you hear it on Sirius XM, you go, "Oh yeah, I remember doing that." But when you actually have to relearn and go, "Oh yeah, what's that part? How did I play that? How did George do?" Mm-hmm. How has that experience been for you, sort of relearning or re-immersing yourselves in that catalog?
Well, I know for me, it's been really interesting because it certainly makes me appreciate what we did. I mean, there were some really great songs. I always had a lot of pride for the band, even at the time, and I always thought that our writing skills and our talent as a unit was, maybe even underappreciated. Is how we felt at the time. But I'm pretty amazed that guys that were, 30 years younger than I am now came up with this material. That's pretty impressive. And it's so funny. George came over the other day and, we're going to try and work up a couple songs acoustically for our set in South Dakota. And we were doing that. And wow. We broke it down. We did the songs Heaven Sent. You remember that? I probably shouldn't be spoiling that. But anyways,
well,
we did that.
But I remember that song.
Yeah, we
In fact,
did that
tell me
song.
the entire set list just right now.
Oh, sure. But we did that song acoustically, and hearing George play on that now, and I mean, it was giving goosebumps. I was just, it was unbelievable. Hearing him, music that he wrote 30 years ago, him playing now with this soulful, expressionist sound that he was getting. It was just, it was like I said, it was giving me goosebumps. And to hear us all play this stuff, it's gonna blow my mind. I mean, I'm really gonna try and just appreciate it musically as much as I can, because there is a chemistry and there is a greatness about that classic lineup of Dokken that I cannot argue with, and like I say, I just got to be appreciative of it, the music included.
Now that you have 30 years more experience, let's call it that, do you listen to some of the songs and say, oh, we should really change this for the live shows, or do you want to stay faithful to as they were? Because I know whenever you look back at what you did 30 years ago, you always go, man, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have...
Well, I don't have a lot of that about the actual parts. I have had some thoughts of like, oh, we could do a little breakdown here. We could do a little thing, just arrangement ideas that might help in the live performance. Sure, I've had a few of those. But you know what? I'm actually, as far as the parts themselves and the structure of the songs, I'm pretty impressed. I think they hold up rather well, which is amazing.
Right. So you're gonna stay faithful to that. Now, the other thing that's come out is you're working on a song or songs that you're going to perform live. Talk to me about that. In terms of making new material, are you doing this one new song, or is it two new songs, or is it three new songs?
It's one so far.
Okay.
And actually, I don't know. I mean, there is a little bit of a we are trying to figure out exactly how we want to do it. It's a song that George and I wrote the music for several weeks ago, and we've now sent it out for lyrics. And actually, Don and I are getting together next Tuesday, and we're going to start hammering it out. So, and hopefully he's got some ideas, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm not sure. I'm of the feeling that we should do a studio version of it, because number one, I got a great studio, so why not use it? And make that a bonus for the DVD, and then spend our time rehearsing the old material. I think Don has been saying in interviews something about debuting it live at the show in South Dakota, and I don't know if that's I myself don't think that's necessarily the best way of doing it. So we have to decide that. Yeah, we haven't been in a room together in several months, so we have a lot of discussing to do. But I'm sure we'll do something great, whatever it is, and I'm confident the song's going to come out really great, and you'll hear it somehow on the package. It'll either be a live version from South Dakota, or it will be a studio version that we do, which I'm kind of hoping for, because I think the studio version we could really make it special. So we'll see, but either way, yes, there's a new song, and I'm pretty damn confident it's going to be great. It's very Dokken-y sounding.
Well,
very.
I'll tell you what, as a fan, I'm saying go for the triple header. Do the live version, do the studio version, do an acoustic version. Just hit every bass.
And how much time do we have?
I don't know. I don't care. Just hit every bass.
we unfortunately, we just don't have the time.
Right.
There's only limited days of rehearsal. So that's kind of my thinking on that. Sure. I mean, if we had the time, I'd love to do all those basses. But right now, whatever it is, let's get the song written first, and then we'll see.
So let me ask you about that. When you write this one song, do you think to yourselves, okay, we have to make a 1987 Dokken song with the hooks and the this and the chorus, or do you say, no, this is what we are in 2016, and had we been together, this is the song of the songs from the albums that this is what we would sound like today?
Wow. Well, that is the $1 million question.
Right.
And, it's funny because George and I, we sat down for, a couple of hours before this particular idea came out, because we were trying different things. And finally, I think after just playing for a couple hours, we went into kind of like almost like muscle memory about how we used to work. And George played a little something, and it sparked the whole thing. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. And it was it just, again, it's almost like muscle memory. It just sounded really Dokken-y. So we kind of just went down that path as if we were writing a Dokken song 30 years ago, only we were now, and we were,
Right.
with today's mind in it. So it wasn't forced. See, that was the thing. We spent a couple hours, I think, trying to force some things, and that didn't really work. When this one kind of flowed out, then it just started going, and we started just bouncing off of each other, and before you knew it, we had a song, and it's very reminiscent to me of later 80s Dokken. A tiny bit of lynch mob in there too. There's kind of the main riff has got a kind of lynch mobby heaviness to it that's pretty cool. That could also work with I think would work with Dokken. But you know how George got a little nastier when he got in the lynch mob, and this riff is just a little bit nastier than maybe later 80s Dokken.
Oh, I like the sounds. Whoa, I like the sounds of that. So, in terms of working with George and Mick, because you've done that other project with them. Are you still going to do anything else with them outside of Dokken? I mean, is it you guys in this band with Don or nothing, or do you still see yourself doing that side? What was it called again? TNT, I believe it was, right?
TNN.
TNN.
TNT. No, I don't know. I'm not this year. We've already talked about that. We wouldn't do that this year. George and I had been approached to do another TNN record, and we both decided, well, we shouldn't do it this year because we're doing the Dokken record, and plus I'm going to be doing a Warrant record in December and January, which is my time off. So that kind of takes away the time for that. So hopefully finishing up whatever we need to do on the DVD for Dokken, and the Warrant record's going to take all my time. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know if Dokken would ever do a whole other a whole other studio record again. And if that's not to be the case, then I can't imagine us not doing another TNN record somewhere down the line. Because number one, we love working together. Number two, we actually have 6 or 7 songs cut with Mick of the Dokken covers that we cut a couple years ago, and they're great. Actually, one of them is "When Heaven Comes Down" with Mick Brown singing it. Frigging amazing. I mean, people need to hear his singing voice. It's really great. And George and I love to work together, and we love to write, and we love to play with Mick. So why wouldn't we do that somewhere down the line if a Dokken record never happened? So sure, I can see it somewhere down the line, just not this year.
And before we give up on this here, or say goodbye, I should say, where do we see let me try that again. Where are you in terms of Foreigner? So they're still touring right now. What's the next step with that band?
The next step with Foreigner is more touring. We have the 40th anniversary next year, so there's a lot of stuff. There's a full-on headlining tour planned for the summer. A big old Live Nation event that's going to be great. We have a couple of other projects that I cannot announce yet. But one of them that's going to be happening in the spring is so exciting, I could almost wet my pants. Just tell you that.
I can't wait.
And there's some really cool stuff coming. We've done some recording already with Foreigner for recordings that are going to be coming out sometime next year. So there's going to be new recordings. There's going to be this very exciting pant wetting project that I just told you about. And then there's going to be this major, wonderful headlining tour. So there's a lot of Foreigner for next year. It's going to be a very busy, a very cool year for us. And I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah. And that band with, it's just great. It's just a great band live. I love seeing the current Foreigner lineup live because Kelly Hansen is
best frontman in rock right now. I really believe it. I really honestly believe it.
I'm going to have to agree because you just hear these songs and you see him get the crowd moving. Yes.
Who else sings that well and gets a crowd going that well? No one, not on that level.
No.
Listen, I'm sure I'm biased, but I just honestly believe that. I think he's the best frontman out there right now, and it just makes the band great every night. I mean, he does not have a bad vocal night, and it's just amazing. I'm really proud of him involved in that.
And honestly, if you had picked, or Mick had picked any other singer, I don't think Foreigner would be at the level they are right now. And that's no disrespect to you or anybody who's playing with them.
No, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not about the bass player. You know what I mean? So it's no offense taken.
No, but you've been very integral. I mean, let's not minimize your contribution.
Yeah, I'm not. But, I mean, I certainly feel like I get my just desserts with that one.
Yes.
But really, I do think that Kelly is the main reason why it's worked so well for so long, and why we continue to be able to do as well as we do. It's a great thing, and yeah, I mean, we do have a really great unit right now. I mean, everybody gets along great. The way we all listen to each other, work off one another, it's pretty awe-inspiring, and we talk about it every day. We say, "Wow, man, we're lucky. This is a great band in a great situation, playing these great songs." So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be grateful for there. But yeah, I mean, it just keeps on rolling down the road, doesn't it?
It really does. So between the Dokken shows, the Warrant record, and of course Foreigner, hey. busy guy.
I'll sleep when I'm dead, okay?
Yeah, and as a fan, I gotta say, it's great news, because I know Warrant's gonna make a great record either way, but I know with you, it's just gonna be extra great, and the Dokken is gonna be fantastic, and Foreigner, listen, it's fantastic. So,
yeah, I mean,
triple header.
You have to try and screw up Foreigner.
yeah, and you can't. Always a pleasure, Jeff. Absolutely, always a pleasure.
Me too, man. Thank you.
And yeah,
awesome. Well, listen, I couldn't be more appreciative. And Mitch, thank you for your part in all this, because the rollout was a little bit rocky with the whole Dokken thing, but I mean, I think you've helped smooth things over. And when you get a bunch of guys who tend to be a little too honest sometimes, it can get nutty. But you know what? It's like I say, it's just because we're nutty, but we're passionate. And
and I really don't think Mick said anything that offensive. I just don't understand why the internet and fans got all. It's like, dude, you know, when you go to Dunkin' Donuts and you're the cashier, you showed up for the cash that day. We all do that. Well, it's not offensive.
Yeah, well, I think they also want to know that we have our hearts in the right place, and
I think you do.
And I honestly feel, as wacky a band as Dokken can be, I really feel like we do have. I mean, I know I've been spending a lot of time with George. I know George is going to go out there and play amazing. He's going to make your jaw drop, and that's really amazing. He's in a great headspace for this. I haven't been around Don that much, but I know Don is very determined that we leave on a positive note. So, and Mick is always great. Mick is one of the most consistent guys you'll ever meet. So I know we're going to go out there and we're going to do something. I want it to be special. I think it will be.
It will.
And so I do want people to understand that, as much as we are getting paid, we're out there and we're gonna give you your money's worth. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So. And if George and Don can hug on the last night, yay! that'll be even better. There you go.
There you go. Well, thank you, Mitch.
And there you have it, folks. My interview with Dokken bassist Jeff Pilson, of course, also of Foreigner. Please check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON, Facebook one-on-one Mitch Lafon, and PayPal.me/Mitch Lafon. Should you care to contribute to the ongoing success of this podcast. That's it, folks. Bye for now. Oh my.